Welcome to Let's Talk About Leadership, Service, and Sisterhood.
A podcast sponsored by California Rainbow.
Founded in 1922, Rainbow is a premier service organization for young girls ages 8 to 21. In California, we have approximately 60 assemblies.
These young leaders learn the importance of serving others and gaining lifelong sisterhood. Learn more at go.ca-rainbow.org.
Welcome back to the Let's Talk About Leadership, Service, and Sisterhood podcast, California IORG production. I'm going to let our girls introduce themselves to you.
My name's Ella, and I'm from Fidelity Assembly. I'm Brianna, and I'm from Oak Summit Assembly.
I'm Maddie, and I'm from Heart of the Valley Assembly.
Hey, I'm Mariah. I'm from Woodland Assembly number 2.
Today we're going to talk about Fidelity and what it means to you. So, girls, why don't you give us an idea of what exactly is Fidelity?
Ooh, I'll go first. All right. Fidelity means to me is being loyal to friends and family, but also an extension to that is also just being kind of communicating with people that you care about. I feel like it doesn't just have to be only loyalty. You can be loyal in a bunch of different ways too.
And I think not even just the loyalty to others, but also the loyalty to yourself and maybe your own ideas and beliefs. Because I feel like at the end of the day, all that's going to go forward with us in life is our beliefs. And at the end of the day, we're all our own person with our own beliefs. And I think that's just important because you can't be full of service or full of love unless you're full of your own beliefs and confident in yourself.
I also think too respecting other people's beliefs and like
respect is huge.
Yes, exactly. So I just think Fidelity is being respectful to everyone and yourself. So not judging anyone based on what they believe in or what they look like too.
Adding on Fidelity being loyalty. In order to be loyal to somebody, you need to have trust from that person. So you have to trust the people you care about if you want them to be loyal in return.
It's hard to trust people though. So it's like once you get to that friendship,
building trust is huge, and then if trust gets broken, it's even harder to build it back.
Exactly. I'm the type of person that like once you cross me, it's like it's gonna take a little bit to get back if I'm being honest. But I think, I agree with you totally.
I could agree like with all of you. Basically, like loyalty, you need like self-love for yourself. I feel like not everyone gets so much self-care for themselves. Like you're trying to take care of everyone and everything, get everything done, but like you need to take care of yourself too.
Self-care is so important.
Like,
you can't help others unless you're
like I feel like this past like whole Christmas break, I feel like I haven't taken care of myself. Like I feel like I'm taking care of everything else and like Christmas and stuff, and it's like, okay, I need time for myself. I need to breathe. But no, like even though you need self-care, you need to like self-care for others, and that's huge.
I think too, adding on to self-care doesn't just have to be painting your nails and washing your face. It's like reading a special book or doing something you actually care about. It's believing and like feeling inside of yourself that you're worthy and stuff like that.
Even just like get to know yourself.
I love
get to know who you are and then make yourself happy by fulfilling yourself with those things. Like I love the sunset, and I happen to live close enough to the beach where sometimes I go and I just watch the sunset and it makes me happy, and I finish off my day like all happy and aesthetic.
Even if it's just like stepping away from something and taking a breather. Like it doesn't have to be something huge.
Yeah, totally. What are some ways that you guys are respectful to your friends? What are some ways for the viewers to be respectful to other people? You know what I mean? Like
for the fans.
Maddie, what do you think?
Show interest in what they're interested. Even if you don't like it yourself, if you don't show them any interest, any compassion towards what they're telling you, they're not going to want to talk to you about what they like. It'll just be what you like, and that's not true friendship.
Totally. Like a conversation. It's not just one way.
Conversations. Eye contact. I also think active listening is so important. When you're talking to someone, nod your head, acknowledge what you're saying, to say or agree. And I feel like that can really validate someone and really empower them to be more comfortable sharing more things about themselves to you.
And checking in with people too. I'm totally big on that. Like, hey, are you doing okay? Like, I'm here for you if you're worried about anything.
And something doesn't have to be off to check in on someone.
Totally.
It's also important just to check in on people.
Yes.
Because I know I love being checked in on. I feel like it makes me feel like heard and a valuable member.
Yes, totally.
Yeah.
So how does respect play into the role of Fidelity in your lives? What do you think about that?
It's a good question.
What do you think, Bree?
So, like, respect. I feel like, I treat people the way they treat me. So, like, if you treat me, like, very mean or angrily, I'll treat you the same way. Since you're giving me the same verbal expression, attitude. But if you're treating me, like, nice and very respectful, I'll treat you respectful, too. Like, if you need someone to listen to, I'll be there to listen to your whole story.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Love it. I think, too, like, just understanding where the person's coming from, too. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I always try to see the good in everybody. So, even with people I don't know, like, socially, I
feel like seeing the good in everyone is such a valuable thing. And
Yes.
I often overtrust people. And I think it's important that if someone is a very toxic person and they're dragging you down all the time, sometimes it's better and more respectful to yourself and them to maybe let someone go out of your life. And that's super difficult, but I feel like that can really fulfill you as a person and make you feel so much more empowered to be around people who are supportive of you and what you want to do.
building boundaries, safe boundaries for
Boundaries
both
are
you and
really
the person.
important.
Yeah, totally.
I also think there's different levels of friendship that people can have. Like, here's a quick story. I had a friend and she went to another friend and was talking like, hey, there's this girl and she's doing this and this. And her friend called her crazy. She said, that's not happening. You're just overlooking it. That can't be happening. And so it made my friend feel very undervalued. So maybe you have some friends who you feel like you can talk more about some issues to, and other friends you can talk more about other issues to. And you just want to find where you sit with your friends so that you're not pushing their boundaries and they're not pushing yours.
I like that a lot. Yeah. Finding a good balance.
What are things that you look for in friends, and what are some things that you don't look for in friends?
I look for a friend that is always there to build you up.
Yes.
Down.
Yeah.
Because when you're down, you text your friends. Like, the other day I was having a pretty rough day, and so I texted my friend and I was like, let's go to Starbucks. And she was like, okay. And we just went to Starbucks, and I personally look for friends who are always down to just go do something and just hang out and take your mind off of things. And yeah.
I like crazy adventures. I'm really spontaneous too.
That.
So
there's a little waterfall by my house, and sometimes we go hike up there, and like the water splashes into a rainbow. So on brand for us, by the way. But I love that.
Yeah. When I'm looking for friends, I kind of like, there's some people who you can tell how they treat their friends differently than other friends. Or like they're hanging out with a big friend group and two friends are planning to hang out and they're not inviting anybody. I don't want friends like that. You go do your own thing, but you are purposely making me feel excluded from things. There's been multiple times where I'm like the only one not invited and stuff like that. That's just not what I look for. I want friends who will, include me more often than not, even if I don't talk to them a lot. Or friends who will at least be polite when they're making plans, not make them in front of me.
Oh my gosh, that's happened to me like a couple times. People making plans in front of me, I'm like, why?
Or I see it later on their Instagram story and I was like, that's what you were talking about earlier.
You're like, dang. Brie, what do you think?
I kind of agree with Maddie. Like, the whole making plans in front of me, like, that's happened to me basically every single day I'm at lunch. But, no, I've been best friends with my girlfriend, basically, like, my best friend. And I've been, I don't know, like, most people call them, like, their girlfriends as, like, their best friends. But, no, I've been friends with her since 5th grade. And that's when I first moved to, like, a whole new school and everything. She was my first best friend, and I've been friends with her since 5th grade all the way to senior year. And I don't know how, but she's put up with my craziness and my weird personality.
I know.
She just gives me the same vibe, so we just somehow don't get in trouble together. I don't know. But, like, the whole friendship thing, like, I feel like if we have the same personality, then we can get, like, like, good friendship together. But even if it's someone's just, like, random, like, in Rainbow, I know I've made so many different friends just by having a small conversation with them. Or, like, a compliment. Like, oh, my God, your dress is so pretty. And then you, like, make a whole new friend. But, like, the whole making plans in front of people, like, that's not really good
Don't
friendship.
do that. That's mean. That's mean.
We'll cancel you.
Yeah.
Done.
But, no, like, I've had people make plans in front of me, and I'm like, okay, we're just gonna go somewhere else, like with a whole different friend.
Bye-bye. But I think something else about that, you were talking about your friend you've had since 5th grade. I've had my best friend, I'm a senior right now, and we've been best friends since I was 5 years old.
Oh.
I know, long time. I don't know why she puts up with me, but she does.
My best friend that's joining Rainbow.
I have
She
an application out with my best friend
she
right
just
now.
came to our installation a few weeks ago, and she's like, oh, I want to join Rainbow. Like, I've been trying to convince her. She's like, okay, I'm joining Rainbow. The next day, I brought her an application, and she's joining our assembly, and I've been best friends with her since kindergarten, since preschool, actually.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and she's 17, and so now she's gonna join her. I'm like, yes.
I know. I finally got an application out to my friend, and then our other friend, she was like, oh, if you two are doing it, then I'll do it. I'm like, okay, we only have 2 girls in our assembly. We might as well double it. Like,
Work. I love that.
Speaking of like how there's talking about girls joining their assemblies, I think it's really important to just spend time with your friends. Because like text them every now and then, call them every now and then, but try and get together at school or outside of school. I think spending quality time is like something that will really help build bonds, build that trust and respect that you need in a friendship.
and speaking of time, I really value friends who value my time.
Yeah.
Because I will just sit around with someone and do absolutely nothing. And I think that's just as important as going and doing something somewhere else. Because I feel like sometimes you just want to relax. Like my friend and I will sit on my bed and we'll just scroll on TikTok, and every once in a while we'll just go like, haha, and show the screen. But that's so much fun. And I also, I also just feel like it's really important to value other people's time and their interests, because if someone's going out of their way to hang out with you and you just flake 30 minutes after you were supposed to show up, that is something that's a big ick for me. I don't like people who are late to everything.
So they break your trust that way.
Yeah, they break my trust, and it's so hard to build that up, because next time we hang out, I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to go out of my way to hang out with you if you're not going to show up. It's really difficult for things like that. So how do you work on building back people's trust?
I'm also all about communicating too.
Mhm.
Like I said that previously, I think in another podcast, that just communicating is my jam. So if something ever happens, if it's super serious or even just a little inconvenient, I text them like, hey, can we meet up? Can I call you on the phone? Like, hey, you really hurt my feelings when you said this or did this to me. Can we talk about it? Like, why did you say that? Or did I say something that hurt your feelings? Can we talk about it? Can we move on? And if you need space, then cool, I'll give you space. It's just, I need to communicate that with people. But at the same time, I respect myself enough. And if the person that is hurting me, it's just best to like, I really care about you and I have a bunch of love for you, but it's just good to separate ourselves from that, which is really scary. And I just started doing that. Like,
I had that
this
happen with a
year.
friend, and it's like sometimes it's hard to step back, and sometimes I'm like,
Totally.
I know I can go on without you as my friend, but it's really hard because there's always that person you can go to and you can just text them and talk to them, and one day they're just not someone you can text, and that's difficult. But it's so important to value your own mental health, and if that person's harming your mental health, then they're not worth it.
Totally. Maddie, what do you think? Like, how can you
Hold on, I'm
set
blanking.
boundaries? Yeah, you're good.
I actually do set a lot of boundaries with my friends. I had this friend group, some stuff happened, and I split from them, out of respect for myself.
Work.
And I had set some boundaries with them. They were very loving people, and I'm a very loving person too, but not at that level. Like, they'd kiss each other, they'd tell each other, I love you. I wasn't okay with that. I'm more self-reserved with my love. I won't express my love in that way. I'll express it in hugs and going out and buying gifts, but not like that. And so I had to set those clear boundaries, and friends who didn't respect them, I would warn them. I'd tell them, hey, you need to respect my boundaries. And if they still weren't respecting them, I decided they were not a good friend for me. Maybe for somebody else, they were a perfect friend, but for me, it just didn't work out.
Yeah, totally. I think also everyone at its core has respect for each other or used to have respect, you know what I mean? So I just feel like everyone means good in some, especially in friendships and stuff like that. So it's always good to just communicate and be like, yeah, like, stop.
Well, ladies, this has been amazing. Once again, these are our girls from our California State PR team. And they thought I was going to go to the table again. This has been a production of California IORG. Please check in for our podcast every month.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye.